Hello. It is late. It's very late for me to be, it's not late in the real world, but for me to be reading, it's like after 9 p.m. It is Saturday before Hurricane Ida is due to barrel right up the path of my city. And so I've spent the day doing all the things we need to do to get ready for a hurricane and spent time with, hi, Yara. Hey, Ellie. So I have all this nervous energy, worrying about Ida, getting texts from people. Are you ready for Ida? Should you evacuate? And the answer is, we'll see if I should evacuate or not. I'm not under an evacuation order. Hey, Sarah. I'm not under an evacuation order. I've done all the things I know for years and years and years to do to be ready for a hurricane. The only thing I didn't think about was my sister-in-law texted me and said, make sure you have everybody's phone numbers written down because we may not have electricity for, Little Sugar, I'm sorry. You must be from New Orleans or southern parishes. I hope you're somewhere safe. I hope you evacuated and you're somewhere safe. So I'm in Baton Rouge. Are you doing this for school or are you just bored and saw some school teacher online? Like, are you reading A Tale of Two Cities with me? Because we're on the final chapter and I'm excited. We finally made it there under so much drama of this timing. It's crazy. But yeah, y'all that are prayers, pray for Louisiana because everything we read says for Baton Rouge, this is going to be bigger than Katrina. It's going to be the biggest hurricane I've ever been through. So, Little Sugar, thank you so much. I appreciate you living the content. I'll keep you company. Well, are you still driving? Are you in the traffic? Or did you get out early enough? But those of you that don't know what we're talking about, this is par for the course for Louisiana. Katrina, I don't know that y'all are old enough to even remember Katrina. I mean, it was 2005. So yeah, I mean, you were alive. It's like, I know the drill. I have my safe room already. I have all my water backed up. I have all my things charging. I know the drill. I know the drill. I hate the drill. And this is the part, the day before the waiting and all the news and how bad it's going to be. And when is the wind going to start? When are the rain bands coming in? And you just have to say, I'm trying to be calm. I'm trying to handle it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to read the last chapter of this fantastic book. Chapter 15. The footsteps die out forever. Talk about foreshadowing. Hopefully our footsteps are not dying out forever. Little Sugar and I are going to fight these winds strong and hope for the best, hope that we don't have flooding and, all the terrible things that come with, hi, Dinah, all the terrible things that come with a hurricane. So those of you that live where earthquakes are, because I have a lot of people from California on this channel, I would be a nervous wreck about earthquakes. I've been through one teeny tiny earthquake when I was in Iran, and that was just the weirdest feeling ever. I've grown up my whole life with hurricanes. So, and I wear a ring when nervous things happen. It said, I don't think you can read it because it's backwards, but it's God be with us together and apart. So those of you that are far from me, we're together tonight. Reading The Footsteps Die Out Forever. Along the Paris streets, the death carts rumble, hollow and harsh. 6 tumbrils carry the day's wine to La Guillotine. All the devouring and insatiate monsters imagined since imagination could record itself are fused in the one realization, guillotine. And yet there is not in France, with its rich variety of soil and climate, a blade, a leaf, a root, a sprig, a peppercorn, which will grow to maturity under conditions more certain than those that have produced this horror. Crush humanity out of shape once more under similar hammers, and it will twist itself into the same tortured forms. So the same seed of rapacious license and oppression over again, and it will surely yield the same fruit according to its kind. 6 tumbrils roll along the streets. Change these back again to what they were, thou powerful enchanter time, and they shall be seen to be the carriages of absolute monarchs, the equipages of feudal nobles, the toilettes of flaring Jezebels, the churches that are not my father's house, but dens of thieves, the huts of millions of starving peasants. No, the great magician who majestically works out the appointed order of the Creator never reverses his transformations. If thou be changed into this shape by the will of God, say the seers to the enchanted in the wise Arabian stories, then remain so. But if thou wear this form through mere passing conjuration, then resume the former aspect, changeless and hopeless. The tumbrils roll along. As the somber wheels of the 6 carts go around, they seem to plow up a long, crooked furrow among the populace in the streets. Ridges of faces. Now, all of this is that commentary that Dickens is so well known for. So if you're studying this for theme and his personal viewpoints, this is the voice of the author in this portion. It's not plot. As the somber wheels of the 6 carts go round, they seem to plow up a long, crooked furrow among the populace in the streets. Ridges of faces are thrown to this side and to that, and the plows so steadily onward. So used are the regular inhabitants of the houses to the spectacle that in many windows there are no people, and in some the occupation of the hands is not so much as suspended, while the eyes survey the faces in the tumbrils. Here and there, the inmate has visitors to see the sight. Then he points his finger with something of the complacency of a curator or authorized exponent to this cart and to this, and seems to tell who sat here yesterday and who there the day before. Of the riders in the tumbrils, some observe some of these things and all things on their last roadside with an Now, I just want you to think, if you knew you were in, I mean, this is a wagon, but imagine, that you're in a car, a Range Rover, something that can carry a lot of people, a group of people, a van, and you're driving to what you know is your death. Like, this is the view we need to have in our mind. These people are in these wagons bumping along, and they've got people so used to seeing person after person in these wagons go by that they're not really looking, but occasionally they point, oh, I think I know him, or, this kind of weird situation of this parade of death that has been going on. And the people in the wagons know that these are literally their final moments. And what would be in your mind at that time if you know I have no escape, I no way out, and you didn't do anything? You didn't deserve this. Like some of the really rich nobles know they did. Like, we know that Monsignor was a terrible person, but like this little woman that's sitting with Sidney Carton, she didn't do anything wrong that we know of. I mean, she's pretty innocent. And what's in their mind to think, why is my life being cut short like this? He has no curiosity or care for the scene about him and always speaks to the girl. This is our dear Sidney Carton. Here and there in the long street of St. Honoré, cries are raised against him. If they move him at all, it is only to a quiet smile, as he shakes his hair a little more loosely about his face. He cannot easily touch his face, his arms being bound. On the steps of a church, awaiting the coming up of the tumbril, stands the spy and prison sheep. He looks into the first of them, not there. He looks into the second, not there. He already asks himself, has he sacrificed me? When his face clears, as he looks into the third, which is Evrémonde, says a man behind him, that, at the back there. With his hand in the girl's? Yes. The man cries, down Evrémonde, to the guillotine, all aristocrats, down Evrémonde. Hush, hush, the spy entreats him timidly. And why not, citizen? He's going to pay the forfeit. It will be paid in 5 minutes more. Let him be at peace. Oh, we've got some comments. Thank you, Stephanie. That's so sweet. Andraji. Stellar. I am reading. Ask, what am I doing for Hurricane Ida? I am reading A Tale of Two Cities. I am waiting to see what she's going to bring. I've got everything charged up. I've got my water. I've got my safe room for the tornadoes, which we're certain to get. We're expected to get 8 to 16 inches of rain. I'm sure we'll be without electricity. And I was going to read tomorrow the beginning of 1984. We'll see if I'll have internet tomorrow. Stephanie, I love how you love reading to us. Thank you for that observation. That is how I feel about it. I love reading to you. I love the comments I get. And if you guys do comment me, I try to always write back. I like to help with school assignments. If you get me on Instagram, best tutor friend there. I like to meet people like Dinah, who has been with me now for a while, and she's got an amazing Instagram about readers with tons more followers than I have. I like meeting people like Kelly that you've heard me talk about, or Sid, who started our Discord. I love this community that we've built, and I'm so grateful for that comment. Thank you, Stephanie. That's a super observant comment. I do. I really love doing this. So let's see what happens to Evermond, who is Sidney Carton, remember? But the man continued to exclaim, "Down, Evermond!" The face of Evermond is for a moment turned towards him. Evermond then sees the spy and looks attentively at him and goes his way. The clocks are on the stroke of 3, and the furrow plowed among the populace is turning round to come on into the place of execution and end. The ridges thrown to this side and to that now crumble in and close behind the last plow as it passes on, for all are following to the guillotine. In front of it, seated in chairs, as in a garden of public diversion, are a number of women busily knitting. On one of the foremost chairs stands the Vengeance, looking about for her friend. Now remember what happened to her friend. Thank you, Stellar. I hope I stay safe as well. We'll see. "Therese," she cries in her shrill tones. "Who has seen her? Therese Defarge." "She never missed before," says a knitting woman of the sisterhood. "No, nor was she missed now," cries the Vengeance petulantly. "Therese!" "Louder," the woman recommends. "Aye, louder, Vengeance, much louder." And still she will scarcely hear thee. "Louder yet, Vengeance," with a little oath or so added, "and yet it will hardly bring her here." Why? Because she's dead. "Send other women up and down to seek her, lingering somewhere. And yet, although the messengers have done dread deeds, it is questionable whether of their own will they will go far enough to find her." "Bad fortune," cries the Vengeance, stamping her foot in the chair. "And here are the tumbrils, and Evermond will be dispatched in a wink, and she not here. See her knitting in my hand, and her empty chair ready for her. I cry with vexation and disappointment. As the Vengeance descends from her elevation to do it, the tumbrils begin to discharge their loads. The ministers of Saint Guillotine are robed and ready. Crash. A head is held up, and the knitting women, who scarcely lifted their eyes to look at it a moment ago when it could think and speak, count 1. Oh, they're just so eaten up with hatred that the point is they wouldn't look at them when they were humans, when they were alive, but now they're all looking when they hold the dead head up there. That just feeds that pain within them. The second tumbril empties and moves on. The third comes up. Crash. And the knitting women, never faltering or pausing in their work, count 2. The supposed Evermond descends, and the seamstress is lifted out next to him. He has not relinquished her patient hand in getting out, but still holds it as he promised. He gently places her with her back to the crashing engine that constantly whirs up and falls, and she looks into his face and thanks him. "But for you, dear stranger, I should not be so composed, for I am naturally a poor little thing, faint of heart, nor should I have been able to raise my thoughts to him who was put to death, that we might have hope and comfort here today. I think you were sent to me by heaven." So that's a biblical allusion. Like, I haven't been able to raise my thoughts to him, capital H, so to Jesus, who was put to death. So she thinks, she's even in her death, she's thinking, if it hadn't been for you, she knows it's not Evermond, but I'm not sure she knows who it is. But Sydney, If it hadn't been for you, I don't think I could have gone through this, but I've got a calmness as I face my death. And he says, or you to me, says Sidney Carton, keep your eyes upon me, dear child, and mind no other subject. Don't, hey, D. Lamar, don't do anything but look at me, because he's going to maintain peace and calm, which is what I hope, if I ever have to face my death knowing it's coming, that I can go into that place of happiness, of joy, of love, of peace, instead of panic and fear. So he says, just look at me. I mind nothing while I hold your hand. I shall mind nothing when I let it go, if they are rapid. If they cut my head off quickly, I won't know that, I'll be okay. They will be rapid, fear not. The two stand in the fast thinning throng of victims, but they speak as if they were alone, eye to eye, voice to voice, hand to hand, heart to heart. These two children of the universal mother, else so wide apart and differing, have come together on the dark highway to repair home together and to rest in her bosom. Brave and generous friend, will you let me ask you one last question? I'm very ignorant and it troubles me just a little. Tell me what it is. I have a cousin, an only relative and an orphan like myself, whom I love dearly. She's 5 years younger than I, and she lives in a farmer's house in the South Country. Poverty parted us, and she knows nothing of my fate, for I cannot write. And if I could, how should I tell her? It is better as it is. Yes, better as it is. What I've been thinking as we came along, and what I'm still thinking now, as I look into your kind, strong face, which gives me such support, is this. If the Republic really does good to the poor, and they come to be less hungry, and in all ways to suffer less, she may live a long time. She may even live to be old. What then, my gentle sister? Do you think the uncomplaining eyes, in which there is so much endurance, filled with tears, and the lips part a little more and tremble, that it will seem long to me while I wait for her in the better land, where I trust both you and I will be mercifully sheltered? It cannot be, my child. There is no time there, and no trouble there. You comfort me so much. I'm so ignorant. Am I to kiss you now? Is the moment come? Yes. She kisses his lips. He kisses hers. They solemnly bless each other. The spare hand does not tremble as he releases it. Nothing worse than a sweet, bright constancy is in the patient face. She goes next before him, is gone. The knitting women count 22. I am the resurrection and the life, saith the Lord. He that believes, so we've got the prayers going. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. The murmuring of many voices, the upturning of many faces, the pressing on of many footsteps in the outskirts of the crowd, so that it swells forward in a mass like one great heave of water, all flashes away. 23. They said of him about the city that night that it was the peacefulest man's face ever beheld there. Many added that he looked sublime and prophetic. They're talking about Sidney Carton. One of the most remarkable sufferers by the same acts, a woman, had asked at the foot of the same scaffold not long before to be allowed to write down the thoughts that were inspiring her. If he had given an utterance to this, and they were prophetic, they would have been these. I see Bassard and Clyde, Defarge, the Vengeance, the Juryman, the Judge, long ranks of the new oppressors who have risen on the destruction of the old, perishing by this retributive instrument. Before it shall cease out its present use, I see a beautiful city and a brilliant people rising from this abyss, and in their struggles to be truly free, in their triumphs and defeats through long, long years to come. I see the evil of this time and I have a paper clip right there. All right. And of the previous time, of which this is a natural birth, gradually making expiation for itself and wearing out. I see the lives for which I lay down my life, peaceful, useful, prosperous, and happy. In that England which I shall see no more, I see her, means Lucy, with the child upon her bosom, who bears my name. I see her father, aged and bent, but otherwise restored, and faithful to all men in his healing office, and at peace. I see the good old man, so long their friend, in 10 years' time, enriching them with all he has, and passing tranquilly to his reward. So Dickens is using this prophetic speech of Sydney to wrap everything up for us as the reader. And he's telling us that one day Lucy will have a little boy on her chest, like loving a little son that they'll have named Sydney, because they're all going to understand what he has done for them. And he's telling us about Mr. Laurie. He's just giving us kind of the summary. I'm reading. I can understand Madame Defarge's bitterness. I mean, the Evermonds killed her entire family. But I like that it was written that she misses the execution of the supposed Darnay. Yeah, look at that irony, right? I can understand the hate too. I certainly can't judge it. But she was just completely destroyed. She had a man that did love her. And like her life was lost at this too. And it's naive of me to say, well, I hope that no matter what terrible thing happens in anybody's life, that they can still find a purpose if they have to keep living that's more than just vengeance. But I can't imagine what she went through. On a lighter note, Gibby says, I passed my test because of you. Thank you. Oh, Gibby, I'm so glad. If you didn't do the work, you wouldn't have passed the test. So it's on you. I just was a tool. But thank you. Thank you so much. I feel more compassion for Charles Darnay. Charles or Sidney Carton? Yeah, Charles had a lot of foresight to realize to turn his back on everything that he had been brought up, all the nobility, all the money, all the wealth, all the comfort. And he turned his back on all of that. And he came back to help Gabelle. There's a lot of honor throughout this story. There's a lot of honorable characters. Miss Pross, Sydney, Mr. Laurie. There's just a lot of really good characters in this story. So let's finish 2 more paragraphs. He's talking about all the things he sees. I see that I hold a sanctuary in their hearts and in the hearts of their descendants, generations hence. I see her, an old woman, weeping for me on the anniversary of this day. I see her and her husband, their course done, lying side by side in their last earthly bed, and I know that each was not more honored and held sacred in the other's soul than I was in the souls of both. I see that line gets me. I see that child who lay upon her bosom and who bore my name, a man winning his way up that path of life, which once was mine. I see him winning it so well that my name is made illustrious there by the light of his. I see the blots I threw upon it faded away. I see him foremost of the just judges and honored men, bringing a boy of my name with a forehead that I know and golden hair to this place, then fair to look upon, with not a trace of this day's disfigurement. And I hear him tell the child my story with a tender and faltering voice, It is a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done. It is a far, far better rest that I go to than I have ever known. Probably 2 of the most famous lines. The first line, it is the best of times, is the worst of times. And the final line, it is a far, far better thing. His acts remind me so much of Miriam from A Thousand Splendid Suns. This idea that my death isn't the end of me. And he goes, I love how Dickens wrote this, that we see into the future. We see that he did not feel he had value, but in doing what he did, the family honored him, and they had a son named after him and the grandson that went on to do great things. So really, really great story. Dinah, we did it. We stuck with it. We got through it. Hey, I'm so glad. Isn't it a great story? It just makes me want to be a better person. That brings me to tears. Well, we did that book. Next is one I'm kind of dreading. I was looking forward to this one, but dreading the length. They don't look that much difference but the pages, there's fewer words. I don't know. It may take me as long. It takes me forever to get through books. I just moved into your dorm. Good job. Yay. Dila Martin's like, you grew up with me. I love this. Chelsea, what's the next book? It is, it is 1984. So sci-fi, it's very political, and I got a study guide to go with it. Oh, Dinah, I wish I was the reader you are. I look at your Instagram all the time, and I'm so inspired by how much you get read. And I'm assuming if we don't have electricity and I have during the day, I'm just going to try and read. I think my ADD is the problem, and I get so much more read by doing it here online. But you see me just, hey, Mar, you see me just get sidetracked even here. Swati, you're new to me. Thank you for being here. And D. Lamar, if this is the copy, I've been telling people it's Signet Classics. I got mine on Amazon, but they were telling me Amazon does bundles where you can get 3 and 4 books for like $10, which is fantastic. But I keep getting requests. I had gotten a lot of requests for 1984, and I kept putting it off and putting it off. So I don't have a reason to put it off again. Did I hit 13,000? Woo! When I looked, we were at 12,998. So that means the world is still hopeful, that we still want to read, that kids are still trying to look for ways to cheat on how to get through their homework. But this isn't cheating. You're reading the book. You are reading the book. I think it happened today, D. Lamar. Chelsea, what is the posting schedule for this book? I really want... Oh, gosh, Chelsea, you haven't been with me long, have you? D. Lamar or Dinah, if you're still here, you know the answer to that. But what I would tell you, Chelsea, is join my Discord. I will post that. Look, see, D. Lamar is telling you the answer. If we could figure that mystery out, we would be fine. I don't ever do anything with routine. So if you come on Discord, if you join Discord, I will have a thread for this book, and I will say, y'all have me. You know what's right. I will have a thread, and I typically go on about 5 minutes before and say I'm going to go on, because I just don't ever know. I should, be more organized than that, but I've made it this long not being organized, and I'm probably not going to start. But I probably, if I have power tomorrow, I will read tomorrow. And if you want the Discord, just let me know, Chelsea, and I will try and add it right now. I'm really bad at this, so it'll take some time. Let's see. No, I don't want to do that. Y'all, it's amazing that I can do any of these things. There, invite, copy. Now I have to go to YouTube. I have to be the lady that tells you, am I near the storm? Oh, yeah, Ida, I'm smack dab in the path of it. We should start getting rain bands in the morning, and my city is going to take the brunt of it. So, yay. That's why I'm trying to be optimistic and Chelsea, I'm trying now, but let's see. Now what do I have to do? I have to go to my live read, your channel. I forget how to do this. I'm there live. I do this. Shh, make it quiet. And I'm posting even as we speak. All right. It should show up in the chat shortly. The Discord link. There it is. That's a long lag. I didn't realize what a long lag there is for y'all to get stuff. But if you, hey, Nick, Chelsea, if you just link onto that, I don't know what those little things, Mr. Mar, I don't know what those little icons, they're so tiny. Like I'm trying to get as close to the laptop as it is, but it's some kind of pictures. So they look like playing cards to me, but I don't know what they are. Yes, the recordings will go to a 1984 playlist on this YouTube channel. Yes, please. I can still watch the recordings later too. Yes. I'll make a new, thank you, Dinah. I'll make a new, oh, my cousins are writing to me telling me, watch out for this hurricane. People are just finding out because they, It's all over the news. And then they text me and scare me more than I want to be scared. But yes, I'll make a new separate playlist. And if you go to my playlist, all of them are organized there, and I upload them and save them to the playlist. And if I ever miss one, and my dear sweet Dinah is great about saying, Rachel talked for a while. It was 7 minutes in. It was 12 minutes in. It was 9 minutes in. And she'll tell you when the reading actually starts. You're so welcome, Chelsea. I'm glad you're going to read along with us. Did you like a separate piece? And I'm super scared I have to take a test over it on Monday. Nick, did you finish it? And it depends on if that was a summer read. Usually teachers are fairly generous. They just want to see that you know it. Really, D. Lamar, I'm so glad you said that, because Dinah and all of my regulars, Sid, Kelly, some of these names just went out of my mind, but they're really great about encouraging me and being here and helping me. But Nick, back to you. If it's a summer read, I think teachers are usually just looking for you to have some opinion about, if they're fair, usually they're not going to dig deep into saying what color was I wouldn't know the answer to this. What color was Finn's sweater in the winter festival? I hope they wouldn't ask those kind of questions, but I hope they ask, which character did you most identify with and why? Or did you understand why Jean was so jealous of Phineas? Or what did Phineas's character contribute to Jean's jealousy of him? It might be something more broad in that way. And so you just need to think in terms of what happened in the story, and this is years later for me reading the story, the jumping off the limbs, on the limb, on the branch, and the jumping to make him fall in, the winter festival competition. I can't even remember the name of the young boy that went off to war and came back so lost and confused. The concepts of bullying and Phineas's ultimate death and what was important about that. I think it's just look at the big things, and that's really all I remember. I've taught this book, and just as a summer read. I never taught it as a book, but I did not love it. I love Knowles's writing, and the story is good, but it is one that is not driven by the action, and there's just a lot of extra narrative that was hard to read, and I think really hard for 9th graders, 10th graders, that age person. So good luck on your test on Monday. Watch the videos, listen to the videos. I don't know if there's a movie on it or not. There might be an old black and white movie on it. Think in terms of the fact that it's around World War II, and think in terms of how that peaceful time in high school and the conflicts in the high school could relate to the war and going to the war, and that sweetness right before of childhood before you have to go into this war and be a man. So some of those things are the point. All right, guys, I am right at 33 minutes. So I hope you see me again tomorrow. I hope I have electricity, send energy and care. And if you've got people down in Louisiana in the path of this hurricane, don't write them saying, have you left yet? Or you say, it just is unnerving. Just say, thinking of you, hope everything will be great. C.D. Lamar, like that. Just stay safe. Send me positive vibes. I don't know what else I can do. I don't want to get on. If you look at the interstate, it is bumper to bumper evacuation. We don't have good evacuation in Louisiana. So I have a 2-story house. If I have to be on the roof, I'll be on the roof, but I don't think we'll get that high of a rain. And a lot of times we get all this hype and then nothing happens. So we'll just write it out and see. I'm not leaving. Good vibes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing the best I can. I've got all my water in jugs everywhere. So I'll give you an update as I can. D. Lamar, that's okay. I'm not leaving. I'm staying. I'm staying. I'm staying. Chelsea, thank you. Thank you guys. Keep subscribing. Well, I guess you can't keep subscribing. Keep watching. Get other people to subscribe, and let's keep growing the channel, because it just makes me feel like it's a good thing in the world when this world is so crazy and so scary. That's my new favorite line. When this world is scary, but you are brave. That's what I'm going to tell you guys. That's what I'm going to tell me too. This hurricane is scary, but I am brave. So you guys sleep well, read well, be well, and I, fingers crossed, will read to you next time. See ya.